All right, hello, Marvelites. Today's live draw is paid for by our partners at BIC, and you're not going to want to miss out because these are exclusive pens from BIC that we're going to be giving away for those special people. They are exclusive to the Marvel booth here at San Diego Comic-Con, and they've got some really, really cool poster artwork from Marvel Studios' The Marvels, which will be releasing on November 10th. And for those in the audience who are just joining, keep those hands raised. We're going to get you we're going to get you paper and the boards and everything so you can join along with us. All right. And the great thing about these live draws that we do is that it doesn't matter your artistic skill level. Brian is one fantastic artist, and he's going to help walk you through the process so that way you can walk away with your very own original artwork. So we're going to get this thing started. So I want you to give a big Marvel welcome to our very own Brian Crosby, Director of Marvel-Themed Entertainment Development. The man, the myth, the legend has arrived.
Hey, guys.
Brian, welcome so much. We are so excited to have you here today. Are you ready to reveal what everybody is going to be drawing?
Yeah, so here's what we're going to be doing. I think in honor of the upcoming Marvel Studios, The Marvels, we're going to draw Goose, the Flerken.
Give
that sound good?
Love for Goose.
Yeah. Which means I've got to use the Goose pen, right?
Uh-huh. So these are by BIC. You can get them in stores right now. But since we're at San Diego Comic-Con, we have these exclusive Marvel Studios The Marvels pens right now that feature the poster artwork. Only just for this convention.
All right. So let's, can we jump right in, Mikey? Yeah. All right, here we go. All right, so I love this because you've got all the different colors that you can use. And oftentimes, you know, when I grew up drawing comics and things like that, I would use a blue-colored pencil for underdrawing. So I'm going to go right to the blue ink setting, and I'm going to start off drawing a circle. So we're going to start off with Goose's head, and of course, we're going to be drawing tentacles because that's what makes him really fun. So after we draw the circle, I'm going to draw another kind of oval down below.
Okay. Shoulder back a little. So an oval down below, like that.
We're going to create an action line that goes from head down to the other oval and kind of connect it so you can see a little bit of the body. So you can tell I'm being super loose and sketchy with this body, and so I can find the shapes that I like. Now we're going to take his head and we're going to divide it in half. He's going to be looking kind of up and off to the right. Okay. So we're going to draw a center line that goes down the front of his head, like that. And then his head will be tilted back, like that. So you can see his eyes are pointing up and away. And then we're going to do kind of that, what is that called? Like a muzzle? They call it a muzzle? At the top, just like that. And then we're going to draw his mouth really agape, big, okay? Because we want to make sure there's plenty of room for all those crazy tentacles that come out of his mouth. But what I love about Goose is like when the tentacles come shooting out, he's just super calm. He's just chill. So that's kind of what we're
another day for
Just
Goose.
another day in Goose's life. So big mouth agape, kind of like that. Okay? Now we're going to draw his legs. So we'll do the one on the back. His back leg is kind of tucked behind. So we're going to have one over here, and then a foot that comes out like that. And then we're going to draw his front arm down, and yet another kind of paw there. And then another one on the other side. So it comes out like that. Okay?
It's looking good. It's nice and fluid. I just want to let the audience know that if you have a question for Brian, you can just make your way over here to the side of the stairs, and we can make sure your question gets asked to our incredible artists. And in addition, if you ask a question, you'll be getting one of these exclusive The Marvels pens by BIC.
Okay, so as you can see, I'm going through and adding little pieces, and I apologize for going super fast, but I want you guys to be able to see the completed drawing. So we're going to draw his little nose there. And then his hair kind of pops out here like that. Just like that. And don't worry, I haven't forgotten about that tail. Which will come back like this. All right. Now I'm going to do the construction lines for the tentacles. So I'm going to have them just shooting out all over the place. So I'll have one there, one over here, one like that, one down here. Just kind of whatever feels right. I love that they're just all over the place. Drawing tentacles is oddly one of my favorite things to draw. I love drawing octopi and squids and things like that. So we got some tentacles coming out of his mouth. All right. So now we're going to start to tighten this up a little bit. Going to make where his eyes are sitting back. I'm going to have his eyes closed. So he's just kind of leaning back, letting the magic happen here.
Brian, I might say that already this drawing is looking Flerken amazing.
Language, Mikey, language.
It's just, it's how we do it here at Marvel. We got it's pretty good, pretty good. And I think what's really special about this drawing is that drawing in general, you can just have a cat, but then with a little bit of your imagination and creativity, that cat can become a Flerken and you have tentacles coming out of its mouth.
That's right, that's right. So I'm going to rotate it ever so slightly just so I can get up and get that other tentacle. I apologize for my hands getting in the way. Again, keeping it super loose at this stage. Okay. Then we got another one coming down here. So I'm just following those lines that I already did. Really one of the basics of drawing is learning how to draw shapes, cylinders, circles, squares, rectangles, pyramids. Learning how to draw those in space is key.
Awesome, Brian. And while you're carrying away and drawing, I just want to point out that these exclusive Bic pens that you can purchase right now at Office Depot, Office Max, they feature from the Marvels. They're pretty incredible. There's 4 different ones. One features, as you can see, Captain Marvel's star symbol. We have Ms. Marvel. Then we have Monica Rambeau. And then, of course, what you're all drawing right now, Goose with a galactic background. Pretty incredible. And they are, as you can see, the 4-color, which comes in so handy when you're doing drawings like this, like Brian, where you're going to use the blue ink for your construction, and then you can switch real quick to the black to make it finalized to do your inks on it.
Yeah, so I'm coming in, I'm drawing. I'm going to refine those paws a little bit. Draw some little hair, suggestions of fur on the sides. So you can see I've got the tentacles pretty much laid out now. Once I feel like I'm in a good place with this blue, then I will move to the black and start to really solidify these lines.
Like I said, and Brian, right now it's really great that you're moving so fast because we're only about like 7 minutes, 8 minutes into it, and you can already see Goose taking shape. You can see all those tentacles as you're working on the tail. So for those artists who are getting into drawing comics, what advice do you have for them?
Draw everything, right? I mean, I think for me it was drawing mom, dad, sister, brother, draw my friends, draw superheroes, of course, but draw cars, draw buildings, draw telephones, whatever it is. I would be drawing everything. My school teachers, some of you kids of the 80s might remember dittos. They would give you the math papers, and it like had a bunch of problems you had to do. Yeah, the moms and dads in the room are nodding. And then on the back was just blank. And I would just riddle the back of those dittos with all kinds of sketches and drawings. So I was drawing all the time. Even now as an adult, I'll be sketching and things. Sometimes when in meetings, people know when I'm starting to zone out because I
noticed, Brian.
I know you do. Like Brian's sketching something. So I'm drawing the underside of these tentacles. So you gotta imagine them twisting a little bit in space.
And for those of you who are just joining us in the back, welcome. We've got Marvel artist Brian Crosby up here drawing Goose the Flerken using Bic pens that feature characters from Marvel Studios' The Marvels. Like I said, if you have any questions for Brian, feel free. You can raise your hand. We can either come to you, or if you can make your way to the stairs on either side, I'll come and feel free to ask that question, and we'll hear Brian's thoughts on the matter.
So Mikey, I've now gone over to the black pen. So now is when I start to really commit to the lines that I made previously. So I start to really look for, I feel like I've got the basic structure, the basic shape of what I was trying to achieve there.
Yeah, Brian, it's looking so cool. I can't wait to see Goose in action in Marvel Studios' The Marvels, which, as you by now know, it's going to be out in theaters November 10th. And what is super cool is now through the end of August, you can all go through to bicwritewithmight.com. We're going to put that right at the top so you can get that address, take a photo of it, and you can find out how you can win tickets to the red carpet of Marvel Studios' The Marvels. So that's now until the end of August. I see we already got our cameras out. Take note of that address, bicwritewithmight.com, and hopefully Brian and I will be able to see you at the red carpet.
Oh, I hope so. Are we going to get the invite, Mikey?
I am.
All right. So you can see I'm just starting to tighten up those lines. And I hope you guys are able to follow along. If nothing else, learning some basic structure. You know, some of the things that I do, whether I'm drawing a cat or Captain America, is figuring out those basic underlying shapes, those circles, dividing it up, finding the structure. Those are things I do regardless of what I'm drawing. I think sometimes people tend to jump too quickly into the details. And that's usually what can make your drawings look a little odd, is you haven't really resolved some of the basic fundamentals, like perspective and things like that.
So Brian, we're about halfway through the drawing, time-wise.
Yeah.
How do you develop your own artistic style?
You know what? I'm going to steal a line from a Marvel legend. Some of you may know a guy named Scotty Young, who did all of our pin sets available at our Marvel store. One of the things that he said, and I really liked it, because I had never really thought about how I found my own style, but you kind of develop your style just by drawing a lot, and whatever starts to just happen naturally after it. Sometimes when you're learning, you maybe look at what other people have done. For me, it was watching Saturday morning cartoons or looking at coloring books and trying to copy what I had seen. But then after a while, you start to figure out your own way of achieving the same effect. And so, for me, it was guys like Todd McFarlane and Jim Lee and Rob Liefeld. They were the guys that I was looking at when I was young. And they're still doing crazy work and working for Marvel, by the way, which is awesome.
We had Rob yesterday.
We did,
the day
yeah,
before.
yeah.
Time is kind of oblivious right now during Comic-Con week, but we know I saw Rob on the stage.
That's right, yeah.
Brian, who would you say is the hardest Marvel character to draw?
Well, that's going to be different for everybody. For me, it's the Incredible Hulk. For whatever reason, I have a hard time drawing the Incredible Hulk, and you'd think it's like, just make it bigger than like whatever you were doing with Spider-Man or Captain America. But it's not. Everything has, it's like a domino effect. Like you do one thing, make the jaw bigger, then you got to make the nose bigger, and everything kind of gets bigger, and then it can quickly look distorted and kind of bonkers. So the Hulk has been a challenge for me.
So what I heard was that when you draw the Incredible Hulk, it makes you angry. Is that correct?
That Well played, Mikey. Yes, that's exactly right.
You set it up. I'll knock it down, Brian. Awesome. Once again, for all those new faces in the crowd, thank you for joining us for my Marvel Live Draw. We are here with Marvel artist Brian Crosby, who is drawing Goose the Flerken using Bic pens that you can pick up at Office Depot, Office Max right now, featuring, there's 4 different exclusive pens featuring the Marvels.
That's right. These are fun. I used to have these when I was a kid, and I'm really excited they're back, which is awesome. These are super fun to draw with.
And so practical, too, like I said, for drawing.
Right. And we're going to show you. When I get into doing the tentacles, I'm gonna throw a little bit of color on those. So I've got pretty much Goose laid out here. So I'm gonna now start to get into drawing these tentacles.
So Brian, we went over who is the hardest Marvel character to draw for you.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite Marvel character to draw?
I would say Spider-Man. Spider-Man's probably my favorite. You can kind of do anything with him. It can be a little tedious with all the webbing and trying to figure it out. It's almost like a math equation trying to figure out how it wraps around his head. But you can just be, his body can contort in so many different ways that he's just a really fun character to draw. And then plus you don't have to draw a nose or a mouth or anything like that, so you can just draw eyes, and it's fun to make him emote and things like that. All right, I'm going to turn this just a bit.
Yep. And just looking out into the audience, I can already see you have some amazing Goose drawings coming at us. Yeah, like fantastic already. It's so good right now. Thank you all for joining us. For those of you who just came by, we have Marvel artist Brian Crosby drawing Goose the Flerken. They're already getting really excited, Brian. I see lots of smiles there.
Oh, good.
Showing off their drawings.
Well, that's key, really. Is just practice and draw all the time. If you want to be an artist, you can do it. You got to do it all the time. Practice, like anything. If you're trying to learn how to play the piano or play a sport or whatever it is that you want to do, just do it all the time. All right, we're closing in on kind of this basic line work here.
And for those of you who are just joining us, we have these Bic 4-color pens to Marvel Studios' The Marvels. This one right here, we've got Captain Marvel's star icon on there.
All right.
Okay.
So I'm going to draw just a little suggestion of the ground here, a little shadow. Sorry if I got in the way there. All right, so I'm actually going to use one of the these Bic markers. These are great, these permanent markers, and I'm going to do a kind of a hard outline around the outside. One of the keys to creating a great Marvel character, I think, is having that iconic silhouette. Yep. So even if it's, hopefully just by looking at the silhouette, immediately, oh, that's a cat with tentacles coming out of its mouth. So you recognize that it's Goose. That's a sign of a good character. Like if you see Spider-Man in silhouette, you're gonna know. You're gonna know exactly who that is, or Thor, or whoever. So I think that's an important feature of a great character.
And we have about 10 minutes left.
All right.
And it's coming along, Brian. I'm excited to see all these drawings.
Well, drawing a character like this in such a short amount of time is a little stressful. I'm not gonna lie, but we're having fun. I'm trying not to rotate it too much. You guys can see it straight up and down.
So Brian, how do you keep your skills fresh and stay creatively energized since you've been drawing since you were a kid and so forth?
I mean, I love doing it. So it's that's not really a challenge for me. I love it. Drawing is an escape. It's therapeutic. It's like, for some people, it's maybe going to the gym or going for a run or whatever it is that you enjoy doing. For me, it's just sitting down and drawing. It's kind of zen. And I normally don't have 100 people staring at me when I do this, but usually I have some music going or something like that. So I would put on the appropriate Marvel soundtrack and listen to that. That's usually a fun way to go about it.
Helps set the mood, right?
That's right.
And so before you started drawing Goose the Flerken, what prep did you do beforehand?
Specifically for this drawing?
Yep.
Well, practice, right? I mean, I would go in and I looked at reference. I wanted to see kind of how the tentacles emerged from his mouth and things like that. And then kind of what are some of the features of Goose. And then figure out my own way into it, right? Figure out exactly what was going to be my approach, how I was going to make it my own. It's kind of one of the things I mentioned at the beginning about, finding your style. I think that's part of this is once you do this a lot and you do know what your style is, whether you're going to do something that's photorealistic or, kind of cartoony, or you're going to just find your own way in. That's something that I like to do, is find my own voice in the drawing.
Cool. Well, I can already see so many drawings, but I want you all to see everybody else's drawings. So would you do me a favor? Would you show your drawings, hold them up high above your heads so we can see it? We're going to get it on camera. Have it facing towards me, and make sure you hold it steady. Hold it steady, and I want you, everybody, to hold it to me, facing me, towards the Liz booth over here. All right, hold. This is looking incredible. You're going to see it on the stage. Everybody's magnificent drawing. All right, now we're going to have you face the other direction towards the Kith Marvel VV. That camera over there is already looking kind of like what was shown in the Marvel's trailer. So good.
Do we have some oh, wow, this looks awesome. Wow, you guys are fast. This is great. Best students I've ever seen. So we're starting to bring in a little color here, Mikey. Just a little, using that red on the pen.
I see our artists in the audience are already switching their pens. They're using the red now, following your lead.
Great.
And we have just about 3 more minutes.
Okay.
Brian's going to intergalactic speed right
Yeah, here we go. We're gonna really cook now. I want to make sure we get this all in.
And for those of you out there, once again, Marvel artist Brian Crosby drawing Goose the Flerken. Brian, do you want to share about the last Marvel comic that you drew?
Yeah, actually, I just wrapped up drawing actually my first interior pages of a short story within Extreme Venomverse #5. It's called Major League Venom. So Eddie Brock joins the big leagues. So check that out, Extreme Venomverse #5. Shameless plug. Thanks, Mikey.
It's good.
I've done a number of variant covers and things, but it was fun to do some interior pages.
Everybody's going to go get that comic, and they're going to say, I drew with that artist live at San Diego Comic-Con.
All right, we're going to add a little bit of atmosphere here in the back. We're just about done, Mikey. You tell me when we need to cut it, when I need to pens down, I should say.
All right, I'll give you about 90 seconds.
All right.
Give or take, Brian.
All right, cool.
Because I'm a generous man.
I appreciate that. So I'm just adding a little bit of cosmic atmosphere here.
Like I said, it's really helping Goose pop from the background when you're adding that green in there.
Yeah.
It's coming along.
Okay. I think we're pretty close. I'm going to add just a little bit of spittle coming off of these tentacles just to make it fun. Drawing that Venom story, I got acquainted with drawing symbiotes and lots of gooey goop and things like that. Okay. Yeah. So I think the last thing, before you call it done, you got to sign it. You got to make it your own. So all you artists out there, you got to put your name down in the corner. So I'm going to put mine right here. Brian Crosby. And boom, there you have it. Goose the Flerken.
All right, give yourselves a round of applause. Brian, you've been fantastic, as always. But I think before we show it off, I think we need a little extra help showing off this fine piece of artwork. So I have a little surprise for you, Brian. I've called up a very good friend of mine who was just absolutely thrilled to be here. Everyone, get ready, because I'd like to give you a big Marvel welcome to the one and only Big Boy. Oh, so good.
In his Avengers gear.
Uh-huh, look at that.
I
Hi,
like
Big
it.
Boy. Come on up the stairs. How you doing? Fantastic. You excited to be here at San Diego Comic-Con? Give it up, give it up. All right, Big Boy, we have The World Wants to Know. What do you think of Brian's drawing here? Oh, look at that, 2 thumbs up.
He likes it.
Awesome. Big Boy, would you do the honors and would you show it off to the crowd, please?
There you go.
Yes, look at that. And then once again, for everybody out in the crowd who drew along, can you hold up your art again? So we can show off those originals
I love that.
with the color in them. Oh my goodness.
It's like a lot of Fleur kittens out there.
Yeah. Cool.
Great
Awesome.
job, you guys.
Well, thank you, Bic Boy, and of course, thank you, Brian, for joining us. Thank you, Bic, for these incredible pens that you can buy only at Office Depot, Office Max. They're in stores right now. And of course, mark your calendars for November 10th. Marvel Studios' The Marvels will be in theaters. And we just once again want to thank you for joining along with Brian and Den. It's fantastic to see all those tentacles out there. And of course, we have more in store at the Marvel booth coming up. Thanks for joining us.